Morning, everyone. Glad we could lock this room down. Let's get straight to it because Stuttgart is pressing out updates for our global EV pivot. We are officially ready to pitch the establishment of our new luxury EV manufacturing hub in King Abdullah Economic City.
Morning. Always good to see you. But you know the drill. I can just rubber stamp this because we like the brand. Saudi Vision 2030 is hyper focused on moving away from oil. If you want our subsidies, we need to see actual industrial deck, not just a flashy showroom. What's the play?
Fair enough. Look, we've completely mapped this out in our business model canvas. So if you look at our current canvas, our value proposition isn't just internal combustion cars anymore. It's our premium EQ electric vehicle lineup. Our target customer segment covers the affluent domestic Saudi market, but more importantly, we're positioning Riyadh as our primary export hub for the whole GCC. And that's where your long-term revenue streams are.
It's a very glossy picture, but let's be real about your regional asset evaluation for a second. You didn't just pick Saudi Arabia for the geography, you're eyeing our heavily subsidized industrial land, cheap green electricity grids, and raw mining access for EV battery inputs without dealing with the heavy regulatory gridlock. You guys are currently facing back in Europe, am I wrong?
Hey, look, it's mutual synergy, all right? Obviously, the kingdom infrastructure incentives are incredibly attractive regional asset for our supply chain. But operational efficiency for us means high-tech industrial output for you. So logically speaking, if we scale our EV production and Saudi Arabia instantly becomes a global automotive player.
True. But let's make sure that we're clear on who holds the remote control here. We need to talk about our authority levels. Mercedes might be calling the shots in Germany, but once you break ground here, you are operating strictly under a host country dynamic. My ministry answers to the crown, not your word in Stuttgart. So, local economic integration is completely non-negotiable. Another important question is where Mercedes plans to localize its value chain. Are you simply assembling imported vehicles here, or will Saudi Arabia play a meaningful role across your production process?
We respect that completely. And again, we're here to collaborate, not bypass your ministry. But that is a fair question. Now, and to answer that, our value chain won't stop at front assembly. In the initial phase, battery technology and core EV software will still come from Germany. However, body assembly, quality control, logistics, supply development, and after-sales services will be progressively localized in Saudi Arabia. And as local capabilities grow, we also plan to increase regional sourcing in the manufacturing activities.
Glad we are on the same page, because when we analyze our market readiness through the diamond model, our related and supporting industry needs a piece of this EV transition. We expect Mercedes to source structural materials from local heavyweights like SABIC and integrate local Saudi logistic networks. We need our domestic diamond to sharpen up by working with you.
If I can pull back the curtain on that diamond model analysis for a second, Your Excellency, you know as well as I do that while our raw materials like steel are world-class, our local engineering subsectors are simply not equipped for high-end EV microelectronics or lithium battery integration yet. If Mercedes rolls in with their strict global standard, they'll just bypass our local vendors anyway because they don't meet specification. And let's look at regional development. Mercedes promised thousands of jobs, but if we don't watch them, they'll just put our local Saudi talent into superficial administrative roles to hit the Saudization quotas on paper, while keeping the actual core EV software and engineering roles for foreign expatriates.
See, this is why they have a seat at this table. They keep us honest, but the critic is valid. For regional development to mean anything to my board, I need a binding commitment. We want a concrete phase timeline for battery tech transfer and a minimum 40% Saudization rate in actual technical engineering tracks within the first 3 years. Deal?
40%? You guys really know how to squeeze our margins. 40% technical staff in 3 years is a massive hurdle for EV tech. But if you're really willing, we can look at the co-funding specialized EV Technical Academy in Jeddah to train local talent.
All right, fair. But while we're talking about sustainability, let's look at the actual social and political context of EV manufacturing. Battery self-assembly is incredibly water-heavy, and dealing with chemical hazardous waste in an arid ecosystem like ours is a massive liability. So we need total transparent data on your local carbon footprint, not just a corporate ESG brochure.
Well, if you must know, actually, we engineered a closed-loop water recycling system specifically for this Middle East plant design, and we're planning to run the entire assembly line of your new solar grids. So we're way ahead of you on the environmental context.
We'll see when our independent audits come out, but my final concern is market dynamics. If you look at this through a why forces framework, introducing multi-billion-dollar multinational heavily backed by state subsidies completely warps the competitive landscape. The sheer threat of new entrants from a giant like Mercedes could completely suffocate local homegrown Saudi EV startup or niche green tech venture trying to scale up in Riyadh.
Or, wait for it, you can try looking at it from the opposite side of the five forces. Our present lowers the barriers for everyone else. So by establishing the hub, we pull in secondary component suppliers, localist cell recyclers, and specialized software developers. So we aren't cannibalizing or trying to cannibalize on the local market. We are trying to build the ecosystem from scratch in Saudi.
Alright, look, we've got enough for the minutes. And I think we see the middle ground. The kingdom wants Mercedes-Benz to lead our EV transition, but our workers and our local business have to win too. Here's the final proposal. We will greenlight your host country authority license, but your structural tax incentives will be tied directly to your tech transfer milestones and your local vendor utilization under the diamond model. You hit the local integration metrics, you get the subsidies.
And we get a permanent seat on the tripartite oversight committee, the ministry, Mercedes, and our compliance team, to review quarterly data on emissions, water usage, and labor metrics, no hiding behind intellectual property.
You guys are a pretty tough crowd, but it's a solid framework. We accept the oversight committee and the index incentives. Let's build the future of EVs in the Middle East.
Excellent. Let's get the lawyer to draft it up. And then let's go to get some lunch. Good work, everyone.